Hello everyone, my name is Kai Ottmans, and in this video I would like to present to you the results of my bachelor thesis, Generating Data Structure-Based Forms for Data Entry in Web Information Systems. However, before I start with these forms, I would like to first give a short summary of the context of this thesis. Thereby, the general task was to extend the already existing implementation of these forms within the CD2GUI generator. This generator is intended to be used as an intermediate generator inside MontyJam and has the purpose of being able to generate a fully functional and usable prototype of an enterprise information system. For this reason, CD2GUI is a model-to-model generator which creates GUI DSL and JavaScript files based on a data structure model. The goal of this work was to design and implement a new user interface that is capable of managing arbitrary data structures. This means that in the case of attributes, every possible primitive data type is supported, and additionally the option exists to use arbitrary classes as attributes. For example, we could use other domain classes as attributes. Besides attributes, associations represented a more complex case, as these required two possibilities for them to be processed within the form: the selection of an instance from already existing instances, and the creation of a new instance within the form itself. Especially the second aspect is important, as it would allow a larger number of unidirectional and bidirectional associations to be supported. To implement attributes within the form, each data type was mapped to a corresponding Angular input element. These input elements offer the advantage that thereby the validation of the data works without any additional effort. For this purpose, a whole lot of data types such as string, byte, short, integer, or longs are mapped to a simple text input element. Because the input of the text input element is always a string, it had to be ensured by using a validation function that this input is actually the corresponding data type. Furthermore, enumerations are simply mapped to a drop-down element, while Boolean values get mapped to a simple checkbox element. In case of date or zone date time, these valid attributes are mapped to a specialized form of the text input element, which is optimized for the use of date values. Unfortunately, it is currently not possible to use arbitrary classes as attributes, since it is not possible to create a text representation of an instance or vice versa. Associations were split into two different cases, the first being a collection of objects and the second being a single object association. In the first case, all data is displayed within a data table that has two buttons attached to it. These two buttons allow to select an existing instance or create a new instance from within the current formula and open a dialog window to do this task. The second case, being a single instance association, is almost identical to the first, except that a reduced variant of the data table is used, which is missing the footer and header elements. In the following part, I'm going to show a quick demonstration of the actual generated user interface. For this purpose, the shown class diagram will be used as a reference. After executing the generator, this is the overview page of the CD2GUI generator. To create a new instance of our student class, we have to simply click this button up here in the overview page, which redirects us to the generated formula page of the student class. Now, if we start filling out this form, we can see that the validation logic for the first name is working, and if we completely fill out that form and hit the save button, we can already see in the URL that an ID parameter has been created, and if we go back to the overview page, we can see that the object has indeed been created. Now, if we wanted to add a thesis to this student, we simply hit the new button here, enter the required information, as well as the student, and simply hit the save button. Now if we refresh this page, we can see this association is still there, and if we go to the thesis overview page, we can see that this object is indeed the previously created thesis instance. So if you assume now that this thesis has been assigned to the wrong student, I can simply click the select button and select any other available student. This student is available since I created it previously. Now if I click the save button here and refresh the page, we can see that this association has been updated, and going back to the students and the second student here, it has now been assigned to this student, and the previous student does no longer have the association.